The flow for discussion, and we have 5 presentations. I hope you have not forgotten your questions for the first few presenters. And we have Professor Dayavansa here. I'm sure she will have lots of questions from the first for the first 4. And it's always nice to have her here. And as you know, she has been running the Department of Electronic and Telecommunication Engineering at Moratuwa for years and years. And she has so much of experience and contribution to this sector. So with that, can I open the floor for discussion, please? Yes, who is going to start? At least I'm sure these officer cadets should have lots of questions to your colleagues. Yes? Anybody to start? It's quite interesting to see the, most of these projects are quite applicable to the defense industry here. And I'm sure this can be taken through to real-world implementation. Please. That's very strange. Let me start from the end, the last presentation, at least to start the discussion, something which I usually, yeah, please. Can you give him the mic, please?
I'm Colonel Lagnath De Silva. My question towards Officer Cadet Vadutantri. I think you have invented some electronic wheelchair. It's a best and the valued invention because as militarized personnel, I think there are about 400 disabled soldiers, those who are don't have both hands. But I think your invention is more powerful. You have to consider, because I would like to give you some sort of new approach. You have to, if you can add some weight or weight sensor, because normally as a person, the human tendency is that before doing something, we are telling that. Both are not simultaneously doing things. As an example, before getting to the vehicle, we are saying, young. After, ab young. Yamming kabang, we are not telling, ab young. Not like that. Before getting the lunch or dinner, we are not telling, before we are, shall we get the lunch or something. Karana kabang kiyanne nahe. Because in your way, you are given the direct instruction, go front, go back, right. The disabled people who are using this machines doesn't have don't have the both hands. So normally, up young. After that, before sit down that people, the machine maybe go front. So you have to think to the additional thing, to weight sensor something with this amalgamate with that your voice sensor. I think it's get the more powerful invention.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Good. You're quite right. I mean, some kind of a time lag needs to be introduced depending on the kind of command you take. You basically give to the, that's what you're saying. Time lag depending on the instruction.
It's also with the
that's
some,
right.
weight sensor with the seats of that.
Yeah, that's the other one. Yeah, right.
Then it's both simultaneously act
right.
on the command.
Go. At the same time, some people can say back like that. So at the same situation, some people can say right, other one can say left. Same situation. Voice identification is most important, I believe.
Would you like to respond to any of those? The ability of your algorithms to accommodate these suggestions is possible, right?
Thank you, sir. We can improve adding more sensors and obstacle avoidance sensors for our wheelchair. We can prevent that thing.
Now, can I make a comment to that? That is, how do your gadget respond for fussy situations? That is actually the question. And some of the things you have already incorporated, but it is not 100% perfect. Probably when somebody is using this mechanism, that person should be aware of such situations and should avoid complicated fussy situations. Otherwise, we will not be able to capture all such situations that will be unnecessarily complicating the system.
Yeah, please.
Ranjit, my question is for you actually. I'm not in the real power sector, but I'd like to find out what is practiced in other countries. I mean, why are we having this problem?
Yes. In developed countries, probably this problem is solved in a different way. They have ring networks and they have short feeders and so on. So they don't have the problem in the same way what we have in Sri Lanka. In developing countries, probably they do not consider that very serious. Priyanka can tell how other countries like Nepal or India respond. So they are not very much bothered about these things. But in our literature survey, we have found some attention paid by the South American countries. South American countries are somewhere in between developing and developed. And they have attempted to solve this problem using artificial intelligence. Because Karnanath is with us, they have used various artificial intelligence applications. But the method we have used is based on CRISP logic. And we are using data to model the line, and from that we come to a solution.
So now if I just ask the next question now, the thing that you showed,
Yes.
how many circuit breakers were there? How many breakers were there in the path that you showed?
In the example we have taken, that is Horobatan line, we came up with 3 breakers.
That is what you proposed, but what is existing right now?
Right now, unfortunately, I can't answer that question because that information is not available with me. But as I mentioned earlier, right now, they randomly select places and put it based on their personal intuition. Actually, as you say, we have to compare these two situations and see what improvements are brought. But from the mathematics, we are going for the optimum. According to mathematics, there can't be a better solution.
Because my specialty is in power engineering, I don't understand much about the first 4. This region actually, you have many other things to do than this except in Sri Lanka, because other places, for instance, where I come from, Kathmandu, in the best of the times we experience power shortage for about 12 hours a day. And during the winter, we don't have power for 20 hours. It's only 4 hours power. So I have an inverter, I have a generator, and of course I don't have an issue, but many other people have issues. So naturally, this is of no issue to them as against what they really suffer from. Bangladesh, the same story. India, the same story. And only Maldives is better than us, probably. That's right. And then Bhutan, of course, it's a smaller system too. Yeah. And one more suggestion, Ranjit, probably, you referred to this cost of unserved energy, which you used. Probably you may have to update it. One thing, because that was carried out probably near 2000, 2002, 10 years ago. And now we have moved to a middle income country. So the cost of unserved energy must be much more than 10 years ago. So that will give you more breakers on the line.
And how costly is it to put a breaker in? Because you said that,
Actually, I am not sure the capital cost of a breaker, but the cost of unserved energy is roughly about $1 a kilowatt hour. That's quite a lot of money.
Related to unserved energy, CB is escalating that
I
using the
know.
normal inflation rate. But as you mentioned, there are a few issues there. It should be updated because our social pattern, behavior pattern has changed, one thing. The other thing is, in the rural area, you can't take the national figure.
Yeah, sure.
In our analysis, we have taken the national figure, but that is not perfectly right because for a heavy industry, the figure is different. For a hotel, it is different. For a rural household, it will be different. And that refinement has not been done.
And in fact, this original study is for the industrial sector only.
Industrial
So
sector
that
only.
also should be corrected, yes. And
I have slightly different suggestions by looking at your data. You might not be surprised to hear giving this kind of comment by me. Well, when I go through it, I interestingly noted that the areas where there are coconut trees, you have less risk of this damage or failures and so on. So in that sense, actually, what is the possibility of encouraging the people to grow coconut trees along the line of these power cables or whatever, even in paddy fields, actually in some areas, I have seen that there are some small island like what we call the spilla or whatever, the Badavati, that kind of concepts are there. In those areas, actually, we can encourage the government.
Yes, but that may be beyond the control of the utility. And actually, even to get the clearance for the line, it is very difficult for the utility. Now, you are suggesting a corridor of coconut trees in the thick jungle. That will be practically not possible.
Not in jungles, actually, I mean villages and...
villages and paddy fields, but as you can think, there will be social problems beyond the control of the Ceylon Electricity Board or somebody. But that is a good suggestion. That is a good suggestion. That is an indirect protection mechanism. While you are getting some harvest of coconuts, you are protecting the line also from lightning.
Even our normal homelands, we used to grow these mango trees and so on.
Yeah.
At the time you grow it, it won't be a problem for your power cable.
Yeah.
But after some time later, 5-6 years later, it will give a problem. But coconut doesn't grow in that irregular manner.
That's true. That's true. And when coconut trees become too old, somebody makes sure that it is cut down and sold for timber. So that is the other reason why. So a coconut tree never falls on a line. And these are the issues. And coconut plantations are well maintained by the owners. To some extent, at least, they look after the plantation. All these things contribute to reduce the failure rates there.
can I take one or two final questions, because I think even though we started late, we may have to wrap up on time, because otherwise the other sessions will be affected. Last two questions. You have any other questions?
But I have a little bit clarification regarding the language translator. So you said if you take about 2 words, you get the accuracy, more accuracy. But I think if you get more words, more than 3, 4, 5 words, again, I think the accuracy is going to be less. So I think because when we are translating, we need to consider not just translating one by one, but we need to get the context and translate into the required language. Do you have some kind of a mechanism for that? Because if you just translate word by word, I think we can't get the accurate translation.
Actually, the translation is done through the big process. It's not actually it's not a word by word translation process, right? Here, you see the presentation is word to word translation is there, but in the word to word translation, use so many mechanisms to identify the word. Actually, the idea here is to this translator is originally designed for translate complete sentences. Here the selected translation is another approach here. In this, if you use complete sentence, then there is parsers are there. Here in English, parser is there. This parser completely recognizes what is the sentence. Right?